Hi, my name's Janelle and welcome back to Rosary Apparel. In this video, I'm so excited to share with you my latest craft obsession, filet crochet. I have recently discovered the world of filet crochet and quite honestly have fallen head over heels in love with the craft. I was first inspired to give filet crochet a try after seeing some beautiful hand crocheted curtains in a cafe in Amsterdam. Something about them just really caught my eye and I loved how it gave the windows of the cafe the most homely, comforting feel. These filet crochet curtains also had the branding of the cafe stitched into them, which I just thought was such a beautiful little detail. So I started Googling terms like fine lace crochet or grid mesh crochet, and finally I discovered the term filet crochet, and yeah, that was kind of the beginning of the end for me. Once I knew the term, I was able to see so many different designs and patterns that were available, and I knew I had to give it a go for myself. Filet crochet basically is a very fine and delicate form of crochet that uses super fine yarn and super fine crochet hooks to create this almost mesh grid design. By filling in some of the grid squares and leaving other squares blank, you can create some beautifully intricate designs into the crochet. Here is a little flower example. Hopefully you can see it. The further away you are, the more you can see the design. So yeah, this one here is just of a little flower, and then one of the bigger pieces I've made so far is this wall hanging that I designed myself, and it just says slow down with a bow. It looks super intricate and super detailed, but it honestly is so much easier than you would expect. And when I actually sat down to learn how to do it, I had to watch countless videos in order to understand the process. I couldn't find that one perfect video that just went through all the basics. So yeah, that is what I'm hoping to achieve with this video, and hopefully it will help you learn how to filet crochet for yourself and inspire you to give it a go as well. In this video, I'm not going to be going into detail on how to actually crochet. Instead, I'm going to be focusing just on filet crochet. So if you're new to crochet and would like to learn how to do it, I totally recommend you go and check out Craftsy, who I'm very excited to have as the sponsor of this video. Craftsy is an online community and resource where millions of crafters, makers, and DIY enthusiasts find creative inspiration and advance their craft skills. With more than 2,000 exciting classes in over 20 popular categories like crochet, knitting, painting, photography, cake decorating, woodworking, and embroidery, there is truly something for everyone and so many different crafts to explore. If, for example, crochet is a craft you would like to learn, then there are so many classes on Craftsy for you to try, ranging from complete beginner to advanced. There are also so many different project ideas and different inspiration videos, so even if you are a seasoned crocheter, there is still so much for you to explore over on Craftsy. If you are a crochet beginner and want to learn how to do it, I recommend starting with a granny square and this class called Classic Crochet the Granny Stitch by Tamara Kelly goes through all the basics on how to crochet in depth. So if you'd like to go and check out Craftsy and learn some new crafts for yourself, then the first 1,000 people to click the link in the description below this video will receive a full year of premium membership to Craftsy for only $1.49. This offer is valid to new members only, and thank you so much Craftsy for sponsoring this video. So first things first, let's go through all the things you'll need to get started with filet crochet. First, you'll need to download this free filet crochet chart that I've made and that I'll be demonstrating with throughout this video. You will need some fine cotton yarn. I'm using 3-ply in this video, and I'll link the one I've used down in the description below. And you will also need a super small crochet hook. I actually don't know exactly how small the one I'm using is, as it doesn't have it written on it anywhere. However, any hook under 2mm in size will work for filet crochet. So now let's go through the basics on how to actually filet crochet. On the chart, you'll see a grid design where each square of the grid has a number. These squares represent each grid of the filet crochet design. And to start with, you will need to chain a foundation row. To figure out how many chain stitches to make, you will need to double the number of grid squares. So for this example, we have 17 squares, so 17 times 2 equals 34. Then to create the first side of the very first square we'll be stitching, you will also need to add an extra 3 chain stitches to this number. So 34 plus 3 equals a total of 37 chain stitches. These 37 stitches will make up the foundation row of the filet crochet. once you have the 37 chain stitches, it's time to start working on the first row of the design. So as I mentioned, the first extra 3 chains will make up the first edge of the first grid square, and the dark squares on the chart represent a filled-in square and the white squares represent empty squares. Because the first row is made up of only filled-in squares, we're going to start by crocheting into the 4th chain stitch and every chain stitch after that. The crochet stitch used in filet crochet is a double crochet if you're in the US, and is also known as a treble crochet if you're in the UK and Australia like me. But to save the confusion in this video, I'll just be calling it a crochet or a crochet stitch, and here is exactly how to do it. Start by placing the yarn over the hook and pull through the chain. Remember that we'll be starting by pulling through the 4th chain in this case. Then place the yarn over the hook again and pull through the first 2 loops. Then place the yarn over the hook one more time and pull through the remaining 2 loops. Work 1 crochet into each chain of the foundation row until the end of the row. Once all of the chains have been crocheted, you should have 35 crochet stitches all up, including the first 3 chain stitch. Next, we're going to work on the second row. Due to this design being symmetrical, it doesn't matter which way you stitch from. However, a good rule of thumb is to work the odd rows of the filet crochet from right to left and the even rows from left to right. This is really important to keep in mind when your design is not symmetrical like this one. So unlike the first row where we needed to fill in all the squares, this second row has a lot of empty squares. Where there is a filled in square, crochet into the chain on the previous row to fill it in just like we did in the first row. However, where there is an empty square, skip the chain on the previous row, chain 1 stitch instead, and then crochet into the next chain of the previous row. So for this example, the vertical lines equal 1 crochet stitch, and the horizontal lines equal 1 chain stitch. Let me show you how this looks step by step. To create the first edge of the first square, start by chaining 3 stitches. Then turn the work around and crochet into the next 2 chains to create the first filled-in square. Next, chain 1 stitch, then skip a stitch on the previous row and crochet into the following stitch. Fill in the next square by crocheting into the next 2 stitches. Then again, chain 1 stitch, skip a stitch and crochet into the following stitch to create another empty square. Repeat this process until you have 11 empty squares in a row. Then fill in the 15th square. Leave the next one empty. And fill in the last square of the row. Keep repeating this process for each row, remembering to chain 3 stitches at the beginning of each row to create the first edge of the first square of the row. As you progress through the rows, colour in or use a ruler to cover the rows you have completed, as this will help you keep track of where you're up to in the pattern. If you've found you've made a mistake along the way, simply unravel the mistake, pick up the stitch again, and keep crocheting. This is one of my favorite things about crochet. It's super quick and super forgiving. It's not the end of the world when you make a mistake. You can just unravel it, fix it, and keep going. Once you've reached the end of the final row, simply trim the yarn and finish it off with a slip knot. And your adorable flower filet crochet project is now complete. Now let me just quickly show you how to design your own filet crochet charts. Ultimately for this you can just use a piece of grid paper and a pen, but I personally like to use an online resource called Stitch Fiddle where you can actually even select filet crochet as a starting option. Then simply use the grid to start designing whatever it is you would like to make. It's quite a similar method to creating cross stitches, however it's even easier as you only need to use one colour, meaning the designs are a lot more simple and easier to make. I recommend going over to Pinterest and just typing in filet crochet if you need some ideas or inspiration. There are so many free resources over there and free pattern charts to choose from as well, so definitely go have a look and experiment with maybe making some of your own designs too. It's a lot of fun, and yeah, there are basically endless possibilities. So I hope you found this video helpful and that you're now inspired to give filet crochet a go for yourself. I know at first it might seem a little bit intimidating, and I hope that this video has been clear and easy to understand, but trust me when I tell you, as soon as you jump in and give it a go, it really does click and start to make sense and is a lot easier than you would expect. Like I mentioned, I'll have a link to download this free filet crochet pattern down in the description below so you can have a go at this beginner friendly little flower motif. It is so cute and could honestly make a really nice little coaster or something. And I'll also have a link to this slow down wall hanging that I designed as well. This is obviously a lot bigger, so I definitely recommend you give the first little project a go if it's your first ever time doing filet crochet. But then yeah, I feel like this is a really good next project. If you enjoyed this video or learnt something, it would really mean a lot to me if you could give it a like, and be sure to tag me at Rosary Apparel if you have a go at any of the patterns I've shared, or even if you just give filet crochet a go in general. I would love to see your designs and be inspired by them. And yeah, be sure to subscribe to my channel if you're not already, if you would like to see more sewing and craft related projects just like this one. Thanks so much for watching this video until the very end, and I'll see you in the next one.